All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Motor Stardom Show for the first time in 2026. Not the usual setup here. My PC fried itself 15 minutes before the stream. So everything that I had all set up is completely gone. But we're here on the MacBook, and I'm so happy to be back here for the 2026 season. Super excited. So much stuff has happened over this off season. So much stuff is getting ready to happen with this season. We had an incredible 2025 as far as Motor Stardom as a brand, having that being able to flourish last year, a lot of experimental things going on. So that was exciting, certainly to take care of. And then this Motor Stardom show. Running it last year with Mason Maggio, Stephen Malazzi, all the other people that joined in to whether it was, guest co-hosting or coming on as a guest. We had so many incredible guests last year. And I can't wait. To bring everybody on this year. Got a improved setup, improved camera, had everything all set up. And now it's, not being able to use to be used this week for this episode. But obviously super excited still to be here, present to you the Motor Stardom Show. We're going to be live for 2 hours today here on the MS Show. A little different than usual. We got a lot of fun stuff planned. We got Mason Maggio joining us here in just a second after I get done yapping. We have NFL player, Cleveland Browns offensive tackle DeJuan Jones, avid race fan as well. You wonder, why is he coming on the show? Well, we got a big game this weekend. We got the Super Bowl, so we're going to preview that, but we're also going to talk to him about why this guy loves racing. And then we're also going to bring in Nick Corson with the NFL trades. He runs that account on Instagram. We've done a lot of things this off season during the NFL season. Can't wait to talk about that on the show. And obviously he is going to be primarily leading the intellectual part of the interview with DeJuan Jones. So without further ado, this guy's new setup seems to be working better than mine. We'll bring him in to the show. He's tiny for some reason. Now he's our size, and he's also blurry.
It's horrible.
He's got a microphone though.
Yeah, I want a little mini mic, so shout out to that.
He's got a mini mic, a handheld. I also had a microphone, but I unfortunately am not able to use it with my PC there. But anyways, blurry Mason Maggio, how you doing?
Hey, is it working? Hold up.
You're clearing up.
I thought it was working. All right, so we got a little bit of a different setup. We've been working on that for a little bit, but unfortunately, there we go, perfect. Unfortunately, we had some issues. I was gonna try to get a backdrop, so a lot of you didn't have to see my poorly made bed that I just threw together this morning, due to me getting occupied with a bunch of stuff today. But no, man, super cool to be back on the Motor Stardom Show, getting the year kicked off again, season 2. Hard to believe, we're getting back into this, and me and RJ, we're still in our off-season jitters, trying to get everything ready to go. His PC's fried. I don't have my backdrop like I was hoping to have in time for the show, so we're struggling. But it's like I've said, I think it was in the Caesar interview that we did last year at Daytona. Low budget, but
low budget, high passion.
Low budget, high passion. There we go. So,
but you got to understand, this is the preseason episode of the Motor Stardom Show here. If you guys will look, we got a brand new, fresh logo up there at the top left. That in fact worked. Preseason episode. This is the Clash. There's been snow everywhere. The Clash hasn't even happened. We were supposed to be reviewing the Clash on this episode, but it's Tuesday and it hasn't happened. But might I shout out our guys in the chat, Danny McGill, shout out to him, always a loyal viewer, buddy of mine.
Appreciate you.
You got Seamus in the chat, buddy of Mason Maggio.
Yes, sir. Shout out Seamus.
I'd be damned if I didn't mention Checkered Flag Dan.
Checkered Flag. Oh man, day one right there. Day one.
Even the Super Bowl prediction here, Seattle 28-17. He says with Darnold winning the MVP, we will certainly talk about the Super Bowl a good amount on this show. Mason Maggio sure will, because he knows a ton of ball. Isn't that right, Mason Maggio?
We'll make it out like that.
Yeah, all right. So, he's talking a lot of football here on this episode, but super excited. I mean, first we can kind of talk about how weird this week has been before we kind of go, into all the stuff that's happened in the offseason. It's been snowing like crazy where you're at right now over in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, the Clash is supposed to be happening in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and it's not much better up there because it is further north. Down here, we're waking up to 36, so that means you guys are waking up in ice. What has that been like? What's the weather been like as far as the years that you have been up there? And how bizarre has this week been as NASCAR has been kind of preparing for the Clash and shoveling snow?
It's definitely been odd. It's been a long time since I've seen like some delays like that. You know, between the Clash. Let's not forget we got the Rockingham test coming up for O'Reilly Auto Parts
I
teams,
guess, yeah.
for Craftsman Truck Series teams as well. So I think we're finally going to get that in on Friday. We were actually supposed to do it today. Was the original makeup date, but then they pushed it back again due to so much snow that we've had. Really all across the East Coast, with that blizzard and then go figure, Mother Nature was like, let me give you one more to the Carolinas, to both North and South Carolina. So yeah, that was pretty wild. But me being from Florida, I'm like, cool snow, like actual snowfall, no artificial stuff. I mean, from being a Florida native yourself, so it's like I kind of enjoyed it, but at the same time, I was like, I would like to get back into the swing of things with racing and with cars back on track. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. We're not up here to see snow. This is no vacation. It's time to get back into the swing of things with cars on track and getting back into the season and getting back into the swing of things. So, but definitely been tough. Mother Nature is not making it easy per usual. Mother Nature is just not a NASCAR fan, is what I've learned. Whether it's snow, a ton of rain. Sharknado, like we had a couple of years ago. I forgot which movie that was, where Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski were in the Sharknado movie. But bottom line is, she's not a big race fan, and she's made it very, very clear over the past, probably year and a half. And she said, "I'm not letting up in 2026." So, fingers crossed that we can get some of the stuff in, and also get some of the action in Daytona and Speed Weeks going, and be able to kind of get the season off to a good start.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Brad K, checkered flag Dan asked if he's had his Charlotte test yet. I don't believe yet. Well, definitely not right now. But that should be coming up. I know a lot of people were going crazy on Twitter because he says he has to get his NASCAR driver's license. But from what we've learned, it's kind of a thing that every driver has to do. It's just a wellness cognitive test. So obviously, because he has been injured, he has to take that to be able to get into the car for the Daytona 500. Obviously, he hopes he can make it back. His plan is, and the plan is to have Corey LaJoie drive that number 99 Ford in the Clash. So hopefully Brad K will be able to drive that number 6 car in the Daytona 500 and chase that first Daytona 500 that has missed him for a while. So I had this little segment planned where I was just going to yap of every offseason move that has been covered by Motor Stardom over the offseason, but I couldn't fit that many files in this stream. So what we're going to do is just go to, in the Cup Series, there were just a few moves. We got Connor Zilic coming up. He's driving the 88. SVG's over the 97. Daniel Suarez is in the 7 car. Justin Haley's chasing trophies for Ram and the trucks. That's about it. Nonetheless, without further ado, let's kind of pull up here what we're looking at for the O'Reilly series. If you guys can see it, I know there's it's small just because there's a lot of stuff in here. Shout out to Small Budget Racing on Twitter for this graphic, as me and Mason have disappeared, so we can further indulge into this. But just to kind of track you through, we got a new 00. Well, I should start with Haas Factory team. Haas Factory is moving over to Chevrolet. That was announced kind of at the very beginning, if not the end of last season. They will be Chevrolet along with RSS Racing. Ford will only have 2 teams, it is believed. We'll get to the AM Sigma debacle in just a second. But in the 0 car, it's being brought back. Brought back as in that's the car number that Garrett Smithley used to drive over at JD Motorsports. So that car will return for SS Greenlight. He will be the anchor driver for that car. Alex LeBay will run in a selection of races. It was going to be 5, but now 4, because guess what? The Charlotte Oval is back to end the season. No more Roval. And Cole Custer will be driving 5 races for that team as well. Then in the number 1 car, interesting split here. Carson Kvapil not getting the full seat in the number 1 car. We don't know how many races he will be driving, but he will be driving the full season. Don't know what second team he will fill out that schedule with, but Connor Zilich will be splitting that ride with him in the number 1. Big story there. Rodney Childers will be the crew chief of that entry. Ryan Ellis joins the Young's Motorsports team to drive the number 02. Exciting deal there. Luke Fenhouse is the driver for Hettinger Racing, a team that Mason Maggio scored a top 15 with at Daytona last year in the Truck Series. So they go to Xfinity Racing this year as pretty much the only Ford team, with Luke Fenhouse driving at Daytona. Don't know what the rest of the year looks like for them. How about Josh Balicki getting himself, bouncing around a lot of part-time opportunities? He's able to get himself a full-time opportunity driving the number 07 there for SS Greenlight Racing. I think that'll certainly be very exciting for him. Then down below, we have Corey Day, who's going to be the full-time driver for Hendrick Motorsports. He, was able to run a handful of races last year. Certainly started to gain more speed by the end of the year. I think he'll have a solid season, especially with some electric power under the hood. Brent Cruz will run as many races in the 19 as he is legally allowed to. Don't know who will fill out the rest of that schedule. Possibly Eric Amarola, possibly some other drivers. Still yet to be announced a Daytona driver yet for that organization. Sam Hunt Racing, 2 full-time teams in 2026. Some people wondered if Corey Heim would go there. The answer is no. Corey Heim's not going anywhere. He's driving part-time, as Checkered Flag Dan alludes to in the chat. Harrison Burton is the second driver. He's driving that 24 car. That'll be an interesting pairing there with Dean Thompson. Thompson had a decent year last year, trying to gain experience in the O'Reilly Series. Now an experienced driver comes in there to drive the 24 car. In the 30, it is the new but old, basically Cope Family Racing combining with Stanton Barrett for a newly owned organization, with Carson Ware driving a selection of races this season, including the season opener at Daytona. Carson, friend of the program, we will probably be seeing him next week, along with Cesar Baccarella for our official debut show, since this one has a bunch of technological issues. But they will have a few drivers that will split races in that number 30 car. TBD on how many races they attempt this season. Jordan Anderson, same thing with their full-time drivers, but that 32 car is going to be very, very active this season, with Jordan Anderson probably running it for a few super speedway races. But Rajah Caruth will be in that car as well, and Ross Chastain will be driving that car for 4 races as well. And then in that 35 car that returns for Joey Gase Motorsports, we know Austin J. Hill will run that car for a few races. We know for Speed Weeks, their car is looking like, or the team is looking like, it's going to be a 3-car effort there. All announcements besides David Starr have yet to be finalized. Let's see. Number 42 car has not been announced yet, but is expected they will run the full season. No announcements there. Likely probably some part-time drivers. We'll see what happens. Alpha Prime Racing retains Brennan Poole. LeVar Scott is running full-time in that number 45 car. Exciting opportunity for him. And then in a big development, Nick Sanchez, no longer the driver of the 48 at Big Machine Racing. Patrick Staropoli, the eye surgeon, the retina surgeon, is coming in to drive that 48 car full-time, a car that's been competitive the last few years with Parker Kligerman. Then Nick Sanchez last year, getting a lot out of that race car. Patrick Staropoli, a guy who has not raced full-time in NASCAR, I don't think ever. We had him on the show last year. Great interview, by the way. Great guy. Is able to just randomly out of nowhere slot himself into that 48 car. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Brings us down to the number 76, which is Sigma Performance, also AM Racing. Yeah, nobody knows what's really going on there. Sigma basically finalized a deal to buy AM Racing and their assets, take over the Xfinity program, and now that sale was not finalized and has been reversed, and AM Racing will compete in the O'Reilly Series this year. So a whole bunch of hoopla going on there. We don't know who's going to be driving. We know some deals were possibly in place with Sigma. Will that change? Who knows? We will hopefully find out in the next week, because we leave for Daytona in about a week. So I would expect those announcements to come out pretty soon. Austin Green, friend of the program, he will be running the full-time season in the number 87 for Peterson Racing. How about you? That's a great opportunity for him. That 88 car is going to be split. Rajah Caruth, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman. Rajah will run all the playoff races for that team, as well as the season opener. And in that 99 or 91 car is a guy named Mason Maggio, who will be driving a select amount of races in that entry. Big opportunity there for him and for DGM Racing, who also get the returning Josh Williams, who comes back to the organization where he's had pretty much the most success in his career, even with a stint at Kaulig Racing, has just been much more comfortable in that DGM seat. And then Viking Motorsports goes to 2 cars. It's Anthony Alfredo and Parker Retzloff. Definitely a dynamic team. Started their racing career on a computer, as Rick Allen said. The iRacing team, some may say. But 2 drivers that have, clearly gotten the most out of their equipment whenever they've been there. Parker Retzloff just had awful luck last year. I expect him to possibly be a playoff contender, a chase contender this year. In the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on the right, you see kind of some of the part-time drivers. Number 4 returns for Cesar Baccarella, one of our guests next week. He'll be racing at Daytona per usual. P Money, Preston Pardis returns on a part-time schedule. The number 55 brought out for Joey Gase Motorsports. We'll see who pilots that entry, and we'll see if DGM ends up doing anything with an extra car throughout the season. Yeah. Will bring us back in here. There's a lot of stuff that happened with the O'Reilly Auto Parts this year. Oh, yeah, and there's a new series sponsor. Yeah, and it's O'Reilly. We have to get used to that. I've been getting a little bit better by calling it the O'Reilly series. Kind of a pain in the ass to type out, I'm not going to lie, compared to Xfinity. O''Riley Auto Parts. It just takes a little bit longer than typing Xfinity, but that's all right. We love O'Reilly Auto Parts. We love that they're sponsoring the best series in stock car racing, returning every Saturday, perchance sometimes Friday nights on the CW. So I guess I'll ask you first. We can talk about a few of these different changes, but I'll ask you first, man. Talk to the people. Mason Maggio, you have signed with DGM Racing for a select amount of races this year. How excited are you for that opportunity to not only get with an established team, right, that has had success in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, but they're from Florida. They're the Florida team of NASCAR, and you're the Florida guy. How cool is that to kind of have that partnership now?
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody that's a part of that group for giving me the opportunity. I was fortunate enough to run with them for a race last year at Talladega. It was going great until we ran out of fuel. But, as they say, you'll have that in stock car auto racing, big time stock car auto racing. But, it was enough to give me an opportunity, in my mind. I thought it was a one-off deal and that was kind of going to be it, and I was like, well, we at least put together a good effort. This is kind of what I thought. So, and then thankfully, Mario came up to me at Martinsville and was like, hey, what do you guys got going on next year? And I told him, I was like, I have no idea at all. Like, I'm just trying to finish the season and then I'm going to figure it out. But no, he came to me. He's like, look, we've got some things that are opening up and we feel like you're ready for, a little bit better opportunity. And granted, I'm thankful for the opportunities that I've had with the teams that I've worked with, but definitely felt like DGM was going to be a slight step up from what I'd been driving in the past. So, we had the conversations, and we realized, hey, we've got a lot that we can bring to the table, for me and for my partners and everybody involved. And then, before you know it, we had a contract laid out and, signed and sealed for, in the beginning of December and was announced, the next month. So it's been really, really cool, getting to work with them so far. And then Mario himself is going to be my crew chief. So I'm really excited about that. Having the team owner also play the crew chief role should be interesting. But yeah, ready to get it started off at Daytona. We should have some sponsor announcements for Daytona coming up within the next few days. So fingers crossed that that'll come into fruition and we'll be able to announce that when the time is right. But yeah, no, it's been great working with them so far. I mean, they've really tried to work with me and really kind of welcome me in as part of the family, which is kind of something that I've been wanting the last couple of years. Is just where can I kind of find that home, and where can I be able to grow with the team for the next couple of years. I mean, with everybody knows, I've been bouncing around from team to team, whenever I get a sponsor or, just to fill in races or wherever I get, just wherever I got an opportunity. But I never had a place steadily that I could say, hey, I know where I'm going to race at. I know the races that I have. And I know that, I can come back to this group and feel confident that, I'm going to have a spot over there. and I just haven't had that over the last couple of years. In all honesty, I've got great relationships with all the team owners that I've worked with, but there was nothing steady or nothing confident that I had, a feeling for with the team. But Mario is just, and that whole group has really welcomed me with open arms and says, "Hey, we want you to be here, and we want you to excel and grow together as we lose RJ." But there you go. But yeah, no, I mean it's been great so far, and the other thing too is they got really good super speedway cars. So really excited about Talladega, or I'm sorry, Daytona to start the year off. Should be a good deal. I'm excited. I'm going to be in the car for the first couple of races of the season to get it kind of kicked off, get our campaign going. But yeah, really excited. The Florida team and the Florida drivers, because Josh is from Florida as well. So it's pretty cool match that's been made. So really excited about it.
Yeah, they got the whole Florida thing going there, so that's going to be really exciting to see. For anybody tuning in new, this is the Motor Stardom Show. Welcome back, 2026 edition. My PC fried itself about 30 minutes ago, so we're on the MacBook. Had to scramble, but we will have an amazing episode for you next. Well, it's going to be an amazing episode today. We're not done. We got Cleveland Browns offensive tackle DeJuan Jones joining us later to preview the Super Bowl. But next week, we're going to have some guys like Caesar Baccarella, like a Carson Ware, a lot of people that are getting prepped for speed weeks. And then we're going to be at speed weeks. Obviously, the possibilities are endless for the things we are going to be able to do in Daytona Beach. So, really excited for that. But as Mason was just alluding to, he is one of the handful of new deals that have been put together for the O'Reilly series. I mean, I'll ask you first as a guy that's going to be in the series every year, as a guy for me that has loved this series, covered it, right? I did a podcast with Tommy Joe 5 years ago, right? So this was just my bread and butter. That's what we talked about the most on the show because what was his realm? The Xfinity series. And the racing that they put on every week, just absolutely garners the interest of everybody. But every year, it seems like there's a lot of new storylines, a lot of potential for more competitiveness. How do you look at the field this year, even now compared to maybe 3, 4 years ago, as far as some of the new teams on the landscape, and then some of the things that don't quite get talked about on TV every week, as far as maybe the B minus teams that have moved up to B plus, right? Got more resources, got more leased motors, gotten a partnership with ECR. It seems like everybody's got a partnership with ECR this season, I guess. How much does that go into it, and what are you expecting from the field this year, as far as not only the new drivers in the field, but the teams that have kind of taken that step up?
I think it's going to be the most competitive that it's ever been. I think with the new teams that are coming in, the pretty well established groups that are expanding their fleets, it's and getting those alliances and doing what they need to do to be as competitive as they possibly can be. It is going to be a it's going to be a dogfight all the way through, as if it wasn't already in the O'Reilly field. But I think it's going to be really really tough this year. I mean, there's a ton of groups and teams that are going to be coming in with alliances with ECR, Hendrick, Yates and Haas and all these other manufacturers and all these other well established big teams. So I think that it's going to be super competitive. It's just a matter of who's going to be in the right place at the right time. And on top of that, with the car count, I think you're going to see a lot more cars showing up to races on an average basis, to where you're going to see maybe 2 to 3 cars go home every week, give or take on where we're at. But I love it for the series. It's going to be tough for guys like us to be able to even crack the top 25. I feel like and and you know, running for teams like Joey Gase Motorsports, SS Greenlight, and a couple of these others. I mean, just cracking the top 30 was wins for us because we know what we're up against, right? But I think that you're going to have to fight for that harder, this year than ever, because there's so many teams that are going to be really good and on kill every single week. It's not just every other week; it's every single week now. So, it's going to be tough. It's going to provide great racing, though, no doubt. But that just shows the amount of opportunities that the O'Reilly Auto Parts series provides 4 teams and 4 organizations to come in and say, "Hey, we want you to come in and do this, and we here's an avenue to be as competitive as you can be." Um, and so I think it's more intriguing, for team owners and for people to want to get into the sport. I think to get into the O'Reilly series specifically versus Cup and Trucks at the moment. But I think it's just shown that that series is extremely, extremely healthy right now. And I think the TV ratings showed it, with the CW last year. Shout out to them, doing a great job with broadcasting and almost surpassing Cup a few times. But it's going to be really, really tough this year. I think now more than ever. But we're just going to have to see. Obviously, as we know, a lot of things change throughout the year between drivers and teams and who shows up, who doesn't. So we're really just going to have to see as the year goes on. But I think to start the year out, it's going to be super competitive trying to get enough points built up and enough resources built up just to kind of get the rest of the flow in for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a great season. I think definitely alluding to what you said as we bring Mace back in here. Um, certainly one of the most, if not the most competitive seasons that we're going to see for so many reasons. So it's going to be really exciting. Before we jump into some more stuff as far as this upcoming season, I want to recap a few things that happened throughout the off season, just some events. Um, Technically the start of the season, I call it. But the Rolex 24 got to cover the 24 again this year, made it all 24 hours, surprisingly. Basically 30 plus if you count when I woke up and then when I finally went to sleep the next day. Basically about 27 hours at about 30 hours at the racetrack. This was all three of the visuals that we got. This was like the middle was like, I think sunrise when the sun was coming up. The very top was at night. The race was under caution for 6 hours, over 6 hours, the longest caution flag in the event's history, obviously, because that is a long time. And then the bottom was, I believe, the end of the race and what the sky looked like. So certainly a range of weather conditions there at the Rolex 24, but it was a fun race. Two of the classes, I believe it was, obviously we know the prototype class came down to the end, but it was GTD, I believe, or GTD Pro that came down to the very end. Checker Flag Dan says, how brutal was it with the fog? Brutal, man. I went live on Instagram at like 1 in the morning and got to show everybody. Surprisingly, a lot of people up. So we were having a good time, but you could not, basically, if you've ever been on the fan zone deck from the Cup Garage, or you know where the Cup Garage is, a little bit before the Tri-Oval, you could not see the Daytona logo. You could not see the Tri-Oval. It was gone. And you also, if you look to your right, you couldn't see turn 3 and 4, and clearly you could not see turn 1 and 2. So it was honestly the most insane Daytona visual I have ever seen in my life. But certainly made for a fun and eventful 24 hours. Kind of kept me going. In NASCAR news, the Chase is back. This is something that I called for last year. A lot of people called for. I was saying it kind of middle through last year, like I want the Chase back. It's the perfect meet in the middle, thing here between the playoffs and a full season standings and what everybody wanted. I was really excited with the rebirth of the Chase. I didn't think they were going to get rid of the win and in, but they did. They surprised me. So how about it? We can talk about that for a second. As far as your thoughts, you're a guy that's, not, at least at the moment, running for a full season. But were you on board with the Chase? Apparently, Kyle Busch just came out. I haven't watched the whole interview. Apparently, Kyle Busch just came out yesterday and said it's a bunch of BS, but he does that sometimes. But
You will have that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the record, I can't tell you how many times RJ has talked about this with me behind the scenes outside of the show, with how he's like, I really, 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 really want the Chase to come back, because he's like, that, in his words, that was peak, I don't blame him. And honestly, I think this was the smart thing to do. Let's face it, the winning you're in and the playoff system, while it was great when we had it, I think from a racing standpoint specifically, we can't structure it like stick and ball points. That's just the reality of it, right? We're a completely different From a points standpoint, I think racing is definitely different compared to other sports, but I think this is the right move. The playoffs, while it was great, the time had definitely passed. We were ready for something new. I think it was probably more evident last year than ever. Um, and more people were talking about it more and more and more of like, all right, let's move on. And now here we are with the chase format back. I know that was something that I was very fortunate enough to be a part of the meeting before the announcement that was coming back. So that was pretty cool. Mom, we've made it. And then I think it's what needed to be done. We have a lot of great memories with the chase format from the past. With all the stuff that had happened during that time period, and a lot of great storylines that came with it. So it was the right thing to do. I feel like it's still going to create some excitement. I think it's still going to create some storybook moments like we've had before, and we're going to do it again because that's just what we do, ladies and gentlemen. As a racing series, we're always going to create some drama. We're always going to make it exciting. So whether it's the winning you're in or the chase, we're going to make something happen. We're going to create some storylines. So don't worry in the slightest. And yeah, honestly, kind of shocked that Kyle Busch, made the statement that he did. But hey,
Yeah,
that's
I think he has a better
AFB.
shot. I think he has a better shot at least making the chase because that's what his sights should be on, right? But with the past few seasons and how they've gone, it's not a
Yeah,
championship. Yes, of course, everybody wants to shoot for the championship, but that team's goal needs to be qualifying for the postseason, which I think they will do this year. I know before the season starts, probably next week, we'll do some Cup team previews and more stuff like that. We're kind of just getting back into things here. But I do think with the addition of Jim Pullman over there on the 8 team, and I think with a lot of the personnel changes that RCR has made, I think they know it's we do good or bust. That's it. We make the chase this season or bust. So if they don't see their entries making the playoffs this season, if Kyle Busch himself doesn't make the postseason this year, I think he ends up going elsewhere for sure. So I think in
yeah,
order for them to know that they can retain Kyle Busch and for Austin Dillon also to just contently keep himself as a driver on the organizations and not go behind the scenes yet. I think it's a big year for RCR, big year for every team in the Cup Series, obviously. But I think Kyle Busch makes the chase this year. That would be my prediction. I was doing my 16 team chase the other day, which I'll put on here next week. But let's just say Kyle Busch is one of those 16, and I got Shane Van Gisbergen making the chase as well.
wow.
Also,
That's an interesting
that's
take.
that's
A
my
lot, a
bold
lot.
take.
I say that because I've seen a lot of people that have been like, "Ha, Chase, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it this year because it's not a win and you're in on a road course." But I mean,
A lot of points.
it is a lot of points at the end of the day. We still got a good chunk of road courses, uh, heading into the chase too. So it's like you can't count the man out just yet. Do I think he's gonna be a Final Four? No, but
Yeah,
he's gonna be a part of it one way or another. For how long we don't know, but
yeah.
we'll figure that out. And I know too, kind of leading into like the next topic or jumping ahead. Uh, Something that's really going to hurt him with his chase chances is the removal of the Roval, which I think shocked a lot of people, including myself.
Or more.
I genuinely thought it was like a joke, and then next thing you know, NASCAR, everybody in the garage area or in the industry is like, no, it's happening, and we're going back to the oval, which I'm kind of disappointed about because that last year was a really cool time to watch the Roval. I felt like the Roval put on a great race last year between SVG and Kyle Larson. And then obviously Xfinity put on a banger. Truck put on a pretty big banger. I had fun before I broke a upper control arm, but it was a fun course. I had a good time, and then we had a good time between RJ making a very rare crossover episode into the Mooresville area. So
Yeah, it was. I'm disappointed in it. I know a lot of people are happy because they don't like the Roval, and that's fine. So a lot of
nah, they're
people.
just a bunch of
There's
boomers, man. Like
yes,
they're like, "Oh my god, we got the oval back," blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, like
the
you like it
purists.
because it's traditional. You like it because you're comfortable with the old tradition.
Yeah,
I love the Roval. I loved it both as a driver and as a fan. That was so fun. and yet you want to like rain on the parade. I
Yeah,
don't know, man. I'm like very conflicted on it. It still kind of ticks me off how people were treating it. They're like, "Oh my god, thank you." Like the Roval was so boring. Shut up. Just shut up.
my standpoint here was I've always loved the Roval. I think it has provided a unique race on the calendar for NASCAR. It's a unique racetrack. It is a literally, as in the name, it is a road course inside an oval. I think it's given us great moments throughout the year. I think more. I honestly think people, if they haven't admitted yet or haven't realized, I think they more so hate where it's at on the schedule instead of the race. I think people kind of in their heads, they get towards the end of the season and they'd rather it be an oval deciding the championship with the playoffs. But with the removal of the playoffs and the chase, it honestly made more sense even to have it in there. Because what I don't like about this, I mean, put the taking it out just in general to the side, I don't agree with. I think we should keep the Roval. I love having it there. But now we don't have a road course in the chase because from my standpoint was okay, 10 race chase is perfect. You know why? Because our schedule is so diverse. We have, six, seven, dang it, road courses on the schedule. We have six super speedways. Like, if we get, one to two super speedways in the 10 race chase, one road course in the chase, then you have your short tracks and your ovals. That's perfect because of the diverse schedule that we have now that we didn't have 12 years ago. It makes a million times more sense to have the chase instead of the playoffs more than it already did because of this diverse schedule. You say, okay, I've done all of the, first 26 races. I've done all this at all these tracks. Now the 10 races remaining. All right, we got to excel on this road course race coming up at the Roval. We got to excel in the super speedway race coming up down the road at Talladega. We got short tracks. We got mile and a halfs. We got, all sorts of racetracks winding out the season at Homestead. It was perfect. And now it's not the end of the world, but now we go ahead and take the only road course out of the chase so that every road course is in the regular season. But what you do on the road course in the regular season doesn't even matter in the chase. It doesn't matter because we're going to reset 16 drivers, not totally reset. I like the points they do there. We'll break it down later next week, but it just doesn't make any sense. And I think the Roval standpoint, we had a great year. I thought the Xfinity race was great. I thought the Cup race was great. It gave you the thrill there at the end. Obviously, SVG was dominating, but he's done that at every road course this year. Wasn't even, I mean, he was dominating, but Kyle Larson gave him a shot there at the end. That battle there at the end of the race was fantastic. So, just because Charlotte Oval is great one time a year for the Coke 600 doesn't mean we have to oversaturate it. The Coke 600 is great. Don't get me wrong. It was great. It was a great race. We had a great finish, 600 miles that led to Byron, Chastain, and Hamlin all battling out at the end. That was sick. But we don't have to oversaturate it if we have something that is decent at the end of the year, being the Charlotte Roval. So, I like that you brought that up. Got the blood boiling in both of us for sure because a lot of people wanted it gone. I didn't. But I think the bigger problem now is that we don't have a road course in the chase, which just makes zero sense. I think it's the equivalent of if we put all six super speedway races in the regular season. Like we have to have something of every discipline when we have a diverse schedule, in the chase. And if we don't have that, then it just doesn't make sense. Again, it's not the end of the world. Like the chase is still going to run as the chase. It's fine, but it just kind of doesn't make any sense. And also it was weird. Like they did it now. Like a lot of people were commenting,
Yeah.
yo, I bought tickets for the Roval already. Like,
No, exactly. Like it put a damper on a lot of people's plans. Like I know a few people that were like, "Yeah, I'm scheduled to go run the Roval," and then
that
they
too.
do that super late, and then they're like, "Never mind, I'm just not doing it." Like for road course guys in particular. But I mean, I'm with you though. Like I find it very odd that we did it like 2 months after we had already announced our schedule. Like I get it if they wanted to do it for 2027, right? And they're like, "Hey, we're tweaking a few things on the schedule. That's what we're doing, right?" But to do that in January when a lot of people had already kind of been planning stuff for that event, I just feel like it's very poorly timed, more than anything. I don't really understand it. because I was actually looking for a ride for the Roval. Funny enough, at least just to get some road course experience, right? But I didn't really understand it, to be honest with you. I felt like it was very off, and then just very uncalled for in a sense. But no, I mean, I'm with you though. Like I don't understand. Like part of the excitement of the Roval was because of the fact that it was in the final couple races of the year, and that was a deciding factor for so many drivers on whether they were going to make the next round. And it created some diversity in the schedule. It's like, all right, you better be good on a super speedway, you better be good on a short track, mile and a half, and then you got to be good on the Roval, which we go to only once a year. So it's like that's another thing that was a big part of who was going to make it, who was not, who was going to be on their A game, and who was going to go home essentially. So I I feel like we're missing what would almost be considered like a key piece of the puzzle in order to, like you said, diversify it a little bit and really kind of put a challenge on the teams and the drivers of, hey, you got to be on your A game for all these different tracks, and then here's a road course as well, so you guys better be on it. And like I was saying earlier, I felt like we had a good race last year with Cup. I know that's been a big conversation. Is this car the next gen car not being a great road course car, which is shocking considering it's based off of a road course car. But at the same time, you're taking off something that has created a lot of great memories. It has been honestly an event that I've looked forward to every single year from the time that it was announced to ever since I started living up here. I mean, I've been to the last 5 Roval races in person because it's just one of those races that was so cool to watch in person, and it was just a cool race to watch. Between the playoff drama and then seeing, hey, what is this road course guy is going to come run, I don't know, somebody's car and kind of see what their thoughts were on it. But yeah, definitely. I won't ramble on too much about it because I got a lot of good memories, including a memory of me and RJ holding 2 beers in a condo, which that was really, really cool. I wish we could pull that up on the show. But I mean, it's stuff like that too, to where it's just like, I don't know. I'm getting a little nostalgic for it. Is the thing. I was definitely disappointed in the decision, to say the least.
I think it comes back one day. I think
Oh, it's got to come back. I
I
mean, no
think it's
different than North Wilkesboro and Rockingham. It'll come
yeah,
back eventually. We'll
yeah.
realize after maybe like one or two mid oval races in that it replaced, they'll be like, you know what, Roval's back, baby. We're so back. Cue the graphic, all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That'll be interesting. But I definitely think it comes back soon. But certainly one of the things that happened this off season, detailed it enough over the off season on Motor Stardom. So I don't even want to talk about it a lot. I'm just going to mention, yeah, there was a lawsuit. Everybody knows it was going on for over a year.
we don't talk
Finally
about
got
that.
settled. Woohoo! It's over. I was just waiting for that thing to be over. But
Yeah, I was so ready for it.
yeah.
I had a lot of emotions running through that. Where there was multiple times where after every court session, I was just like, oh, all right, not cool, dudes.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know. It
Oh,
is definitely shocking. We won't get into it, but it was definitely shocking.
uh,
Oh God, you
John
want to talk
Cena
about getting
retired.
emotional?
John
You want
Cena
to talk about
retired.
getting emotional?
Yeah,
I will cry on the show. this
yeah.
this one this one hurt the soul. This one
John
hurt the soul.
Cena at his last match retired. Went out sad to Gunther. Gunther choked him out. Unfortunately, John Cena tapped at his will, and that was his last match inside a WWE ring. So that was unfortunate to see. Tribal Chief Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble the other day, so that was cool. But yeah, it's been a good off season. It's been eventful. There's certainly been some tragic events this off season, and all of our thoughts and prayers are with all the families of those that were on the plane crash. Greg Biffle's family, the family of Michael Annette as well, who we lost this off season. So just as well as Denny Hamlin's family as well. And, a lot of unfortunate tragic things happened this off season, lawsuits going on. It's just all this stuff with the NASCAR schedule, literally what we're just talking about, that snowed out clash, a random schedule change right before the start of the season. It's just it's been a lot of unforeseen things this offseason. And I think for a guy that was ending last year, kind of being like, okay, I'm ready for this offseason. Now I am in the mode of I am super, super needing of some racing, which was supposed to happen 3 days ago. And we have not had that racing yet at Bowman Gray. So my last suggestion here before we go off the air for a little break, before we come back at 7, will be NASCAR. No more up north for the Clash. No more 2 weeks early. Let's go back. Let's go back, bring it back to Daytona, and let's bring it to New Smyrna Speedway because that would be badass. That's just my last suggestion. Be a
That
legit
would be.
better.
I'm not opposed to that idea. I'm also not opposed to because I've been seeing it a lot on Twitter. Is the it probably wouldn't work anymore because the grandstands aren't there, but the
Yeah,
backstretch,
backstretch.
like little bull ring that they used to create back in like 2013,
If the
2014.
stands were there, yeah, you
If
could
the
do
stands were there, it would make sense. I think you'd have to probably do it anywhere from like close to turn 1 or maybe turn 4. I don't know how that would work logistically, but I think that'd be really cool to bring back too. But I love the idea of New Smyrna too. I feel like obviously with all the Daytona stuff, New Smyrna kind of gets overlooked in a sense. But New Smyrna always puts on some great racing. It's a really unique track. It's one that surprisingly I have not raced at personally. Uh, so I really need to change that here soon because I've heard nothing but good things about it. But I think we're cooking on some stuff. NASCAR, if you're listening, we jot down some notes. We'll say that.
100%. 100%. Jot them down. Well, we're going to go off the air here. Not off the air. We'll stay on the air. We're going to take a quick 3 to 5 minute break. We'll make it 3-minute break, and we will be back on the other side of the show where we will have DeJuan Jones, NFL player for the Cleveland Browns, offensive tackle, joining us on the show. Super excited about that. He's going to have a lot of insight to provide as far as his season, the upcoming Super Bowl, some stars that he's played with, as well as his NASCAR fandom. Dude's a NASCAR fan. Dude's a Motor Stardom fan, and I love that. So we had to bring him on the show right away. So we will see you guys in 3 minutes. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Motor Stardom Show. Hour 2 set to go underway. We talked about the NASCAR season. We talked about some off-season storylines. If you're tuning in for the first time in this show, I'm RJ Starcevic, owner-founder of Motor Stardom. Well, my PC fried itself about 10 minutes before we went live, and I'm on my MacBook. I had everything set up in the studio, and unfortunately, the preseason stream, we're having to change it up here. I'm here alongside Mason Maggio, driver of the number 91 for DGM Racing this season, getting ready for Daytona. And we're going to start flowing everybody in here one by one before we get set with our main event guy. First, bringing in hailing from the Latrobe area in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I flipped my camera.
The opposite way. Thanks for showing us your desk. Tanner Popella, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Cold day, but it's even warmer than it has been. I woke up to a steamy 30 degrees here in Pennsylvania compared to the negative 13 I woke up to about 4 days ago. Yeah. So snow's melting. It's getting warmer-ish, and we're doing well here.
Yeah, 100%. Well, excited to hear that. We'll bring in here Nick in 1 second. As long as he's ready to go, you can give me the signal thumbs up when you're ready to go, my friend. But without further ado, we might as well flow him in here. Avid race fan, but also he is one of the offensive tackles for the Cleveland Browns. Big supporter of my stuff. Awesome guy. So I figured we got to bring him in here to talk some Super Bowl action. My man, once he flows in, here we go. DeJuan Jones, how we doing,
up,
man?
Doing good. Can y'all hear me?
We got you.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And then we might as well just expand the party here. We'll bring in Mr. Nick, who is the big NFL media guy here. I mean, DeJuan, as you know, look, I watch football. I love ball. I watch it all the time, but my specialty is NASCAR. This guy over here reports on the sport. He'll be asking you the ball questions here on the show. Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, we doing great. We doing great. But DeJuan, man, it is super excited to have you here. Obviously, it's a fun part of the year where it's like we're saying farewell. Well, that's not fun for football, but saying farewell to the football season, but hello to the NASCAR season. Super Bowl. There's a meme out there if you've seen it, whatever it is, like what Super Bowl 2 weeks till Daytona. Yeah. Shout out Dale. But I got to ask you first before we get into some more football. What inspired you? How long have you been a racing fan? I guess I should ask you first.
I'm from Indy, and so that's like kind of like a main thing. I'm from Indianapolis, but I had never been to the 500. That's different from NASCAR, but I had went my junior year, and I don't know, it was just something about it. I think I had seen like the first turn crash, and I don't know. I know that's kind of bad, but I was just seeing it. I'm just like, it's pretty dope. These guys are going that fast, and I have to like, manage a strategy and do all this other things on top of what they're already doing of driving. So, I appreciate that. And then, I go to see NASCAR. I seen Fontana right before it got, turned into Amazon. And
yeah,
I think that was pretty dope too. It was the 75th anniversary that year. And it was just dope to, see like that race. And, they don't race no more, unfortunately, but it was pretty dope. And I think after that, it just really stuck with me.
Yeah, and so where has your favorite racetrack been that you've been to so far, if you had to pick?
Yeesh, that's pretty tough. I mean, obviously the Brickyard, it don't get better than that for being from where I'm from. But besides home, I've been down to St. Pete. I went up to stay up north. I went to Michigan, but I'd probably say Fontana was, I don't know, that track was pretty dope. And I had seen Kyle Busch win, and he hasn't won in a long time. So to see one of his last wins, it was pretty dope.
Yeah, one of his last. Hopefully not his last. We hope
I know,
not.
that's what I'm saying. Like, just one of them. But
we were just talking about before you came on. Like, I think Kyle Busch makes the chase this year. I think it's going to be a big year for him. We'll see. Did you have a favorite driver? Do you have a favorite driver? Did you have one growing up when you were getting into the sport? Do you have one right now that you root for? You're kind of just there like, hey, let me see a good race and let me have fun.
Growing up, I'd say it was Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. Those guys are, kind of from Indy, or just Tony Stewart for sure is. And then I would say now is Joey Logano. No doubt, and I think that's my guy. I rock with him. Everybody hates him, and I think that's like the mindset I kind of go in with, to the games, and so I like that.
Yeah, 100%. You bring up auto, that's for Fontana. That's always sad for us because us NASCAR fans. I mean, we love that racetrack. It was a lot of fun. It's still sitting there. I don't know if you saw like a few weeks ago. I guess somebody went by, took some pictures, and it's still
seen that. It was
just the front stretch though. And that's it. But we certainly hope it comes back. Do you have anything on your schedule this year? Do you know going any races so far? I gotta see you.
I'm gonna go to St. Pete for sure. I think that's one.
I'll see you there.
So it'll be, the IndyCar, and then it'll be NASCAR on Saturday, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know anything off the top of my head, but I got a bunch of lineups. So I think it's just like the way the week goes and stuff, the way it goes. And I can drive up to, Michigan, go to that track, and it just depends.
Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing you there in St. Pete. That's basically my home ground. I live in Tampa.
Okay.
30 minutes from there. So I'll be there. And let me tell you, that truck race that you're going to see on Saturday, I do believe it is Saturday. It's going to be the stupidest race you've ever seen.
I can't wait. I'm like, how are they going to manage this? But
they're gonna figure it out. They're going to figure it out. So it's going to be fun. Dario Franchitti, they just announced today, is going to be running that race. He's going to be like, what the hell is going on? But it's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun for people to watch on TV. But I think for the people that go to St. Pete, because a lot of people that go to that race they've only seen open wheel. They only do IndyCar. Let me tell you, you're about to see the show of your lifetime when the trucks get out there. So I'll start swinging it around to the boys here. I'll start with Mason Maggio. If you got a racing or football related question, I know you. We know Mason Maggio watches a lot of football, but if you swing in a question, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we appreciate you coming on the show. It's a pleasure having you. I know you talked about like mindset, like that you comparing your mindset to like Joey Logano's, where like it's an aggressive mindset going into a game, the same way Joey goes into a race with an aggressive mindset. Do you see a lot of similarities as far as between racing and in football, whether that's with mindset or the way that like say a crew chief or a coach deals with strategy and things like that? Do you see any similarities and tie-ins?
Yeah, I would say the way it's pretty tough how to like put it in perspective, but like, you guys kind of like not pace yourself, but like, sometimes you have to pace yourself and, but, you got to listen to your coach and just listen what the things they're telling you, it may be not what you want to hear at the time, but, it's going to be for the bigger cause and bigger result at the end. I don't know. It's so different, but when I watch y'all, I just translate it to like, you got the strategy and just, I have to just make sure like I got a strategy, that day of blocking my guy, you got to make sure you're blocking the guy behind you just like that. So I kind of like translated that aspect.
100%. We'll throw it to Tanner if you got anything, my friend. No beef here. Look, Cleveland Browns, Tanner's Yinzer over there, but
We'll ignore the fact I'm a Pittsburgh guy. We'll set that aside. There's no need to throw that in there.
There we go.
But I know that you did go. I know you did go to Ohio State. Was there anybody you played with that still might be there that you would look forward to, or someone that you didn't even play with that's there right now that you would like the Browns to get in the draft this year?
I mean, that's, any of those guys I'll take, from Caden Curry, just from obviously Carnell, Arvell, all those guys are incredible. I couldn't count Kenyatta. I know Kenyatta's going back.
Sonny.
But, as a guy I play with, so, those are all just, I don't know. You really can't go wrong who you go with.
For sure, especially wide receiver position, Ohio State. They just produce those guys.
Jackson said that statement, and I told him, I'm like, I don't know about that. You're tripping. Our receivers a little bit built different.
For sure.
I know my share of Ohio State guys because I'm a Saints fan. I've grown up a Saints fan. I know it's weird. I'm in Tampa Bay. I'm a Saints fan. It doesn't make sense, but I love the black and gold when I was a kid, and I just stuck with it. I love Drew Brees.
It's
I
pretty
just stuck
crazy.
with it. So trust me, I've seen my share of Ohio State guys that have come out of the draft for sure. But I'm going to translate it or transition it over here to my man Nick.
Yeah, so Dawn, I've been running a page for about 8 years now. I've been covering the league for that long, and I've always loved the NFL. But lately, I've been really the last couple of years, I've been really fascinated with player development and prospects, and just that whole draft process. And coming out of Ohio State, by the way, go Buckeyes, OH man.
Yes, sir.
You were no yes, you were known as a bookend right tackle, right? You played right most of your career, but this year, before obviously the injury, you played two full games at left tackle. How was that transition, and how did it feel?
Just I don't know. It's kind of like everybody says, it's like kind of wiping with your left hand, and I don't know. Like I kind of just try to take the training I have from Ohio State. I did used to play left tackle at Ohio State when I first came in,
Okay,
and so I take that and go back to like what I used to do, and take the training now and what I'm getting taught now, like how to put into my game. And it was tough. It was challenging, but
right,
I would say upstairs really just kept me going. Just study with me and just help me with my game. And I think, like you said, player development. They just stayed on top and just made sure I got better. I played 2 games, but I felt like I was getting better, and I was going to go back to right tackle that game for the Green Bay Packers, and
oh
you
wow,
know so it was it is what the nature of the game is. It's what
right,
happened. I would say it's kind of like Mason if he gets put into like a hot seat with a truck instead of Xfinity car, like he's got to adjust. Like it's just what it is.
That's true,
awesome.
and he does. He just ain't that right, Mason.
I see him. I see him. He gets he gets double duty a lot.
He does. All right, I'll stick with you, Nick. What you got?
All right, so I got a question. 1 second. So I had a question. So you obviously you came into the league. Um, you had brief time with Bill Callahan. I wanted to ask to see what was it like playing under a lineman coach that has that much of know everything. Like he knows so much about the game, and he's been with the game for so long. What was it like to be coached under someone like that, who now is going to go under your old coach and Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta? What was it like playing under him?
It was great. He pushed me every day. We had days we got into it, and this just happens in the nature of the game. I love Bill to the forever. I thank him for my whole rookie year and what got me here, and it set the foundation to for where I'm at, and I can never thank Bill enough for what he did, and that coaching staff that was with him.
You still talk to him to this day,
I
or do
talked
you
to
have any
him.
conversations with him?
I didn't text him just recently for when he got the job, but obviously I should. But he texted me when I got hurt. And I think he got texted me recently when I got hurt again. So, Bill's always there whenever I just need him. And I be kind of scared, because he's a coach. How like I want to go to him and ask him for help. I don't know
Right.
how it goes. Just because but I would definitely want to reach out to him. And I should more, but I should just call him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
and what was your relationship like with Kevin Stefanski? I know you've had as a football player, right, and a basketball player. We'll get into that in a little bit. I've been learning about that. But as a football player, you've had a lot of different coaches that you work with as far as ones that specify in your field and overall just head coach or offensive coordinator. What was your time with a guy like Kevin Stefanski during obviously an important part of your career where, you're just starting out?
Me and Coach Stefanski, like I said, all coaches, we butt heads, but, I love Coach Stefanski at the end of the day. It was just, it was tough. We had built a relationship from my rookie year, and I don't know, it's just, it's different when you have a guy when you first come in, and it's somebody different when you leave, and it's just, it's unfortunate, and I definitely built up a solid relationship with Coach Stefanski. He's definitely going to be missed, and, I wish for him the best with the Falcons.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as far as, you've seen a lot of different coaches in your time, especially last year, you saw a lot of different quarterbacks in the room. I mean, you literally on a team saw one of the most and oldest veteran quarterbacks on the team and Joe Flacco come play some ball. And you're also working with not one, but two rookies with Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders. How was that like as far as, just you as a relationship from an offensive lineman standpoint to a quarterback standpoint, but seeing like, you're literally going 1 week, you and your guys are working with Joe Flacco, a guy that's seen it all in this league. And the next week you're going to a guy who's going to do great things in this league, rising star Shadur Sanders.
But this is how I go back to NASCAR. It's like get a new crew chief for the week, Say
Yeah, there we go.
So
There
like,
we go.
So like for me, that's nothing. Whoever runs the show runs the show. You gotta do what you gotta do at the end of the day. And Joe was great. It goes back to like from last year, Jameis. So like guys like that is just you never forget those memories. And even Shador, I didn't get to play with Shador, but I got a couple reps with him. Like whenever I was on scout team or doing whatever I needed to do, and Dylan, just being with those guys. Those reps count. But like I said, it don't matter who's back there calling plays. You got to do your job.
Did you have like a favorite? I forgot about the Jameis part. Do you have like as a New Orleans guy? I got my own Jameis experience.
Oh no!
I see him on any show or anything like that. Did you ever have like a famous Jameis interaction? Did you ever have one?
Yeah. When I first had when he had first got here, and I think we got this thing called DEXA, which is basically like do like a body scan, see like how much body fat we lose and stuff, and how much we got when we get there. I was sitting down, and Jameis came up and put his hand next to me, and he said, I know what position you play by the way your back is. He said, you play tackle. I said, yeah. I said he had me so hurt, but I said that was so funny, and his accent too, so it just made it so much more funny. And one of my old linemen was sitting right there, and we just chuckled it up.
That's funny. Yeah, we love that guy 100%. So as we got a round table here, it's a Super Bowl episode. We might as well talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. So Super Bowl 60, we got the Seattle Seahawks facing off and against the New England Patriots. Seahawks came in as the 1 seed. They've been dogs all year long in a very tough division for anybody that's watched the season this year. So, DeJuan, I'll start off with you. Do you have a pick? Who do you like and why?
I really don't care who win. I never was a fan of either or growing up. I never, being from Indy, I could never get down with Brady.
That's true.
I could never get down with, Russell. Nothing against them. But it's, I don't know. But, my boy Jackson is on the Seahawks, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Right. And I definitely want to go get a Super Bowl. We talk probably more than anybody from Ohio State. And, I just want him to go get that. He works hard, he was all pro this year. Just might as well cap it off with a Super Bowl ring. You might as well go ahead and pop one off. So I have to go with the Seahawks.
Exactly. Okay, I like it.
What about Henderson?
I know I play with Trey, but then it goes back to the Brady thing. I'm like, yeah. Also, my boy Thayer. I can't leave my boy Thayer out. I know Thayer just got picked up. So
that's true. All right, we'll swing it over to Mason with your extensive ball knowledge here, sir. Who do you got? Oh my gosh, he has so much ball knowledge we can't even hear him. Jeez. No. All right, well, Mason works on that. We're gonna go to Tanner. Tanner, who you got?
So the Seahawks being the 1 seed, obvious favorite, but the Patriots defense has really come alive in this postseason. Drake Mays had 6 fumbles and 1 or 2 picks throughout the postseason games, but the defense gets them through it. Whether they played Jared Stidham or not, it doesn't matter. Jared Stidham's still a good enough quarterback to be put in that situation. And I think this game is going to be closer than people expect it to be. But I'm still rocking with the Seahawks. I think Sam Darnold's really coming to his own and overcame the postseason bad play. I think he's playing really good football right now. And that Seahawks defense, probably the best in the league outside of the Texans. So I'll take the Seahawks here.
You did make a great point. That defense, when it gets to like the third and fourth quarter after halftime, it does get pretty stout. And I really like. I don't know, like you said, like, but I played the Seattle Seahawks like defense, so like, I've seen those guys in person. So like, for me, like, I know what those guys bring to the table. Like, yes, I know, like, we played the Pats this year. I had the scout on, but what I see on paper is what I get, and I see the Seahawks, and I just think they got a little bit more right now.
For sure.
But we got Nick.
It's out there in the West Coast. Is it too West? No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they kind of got a little bit of advantage, with that side too. But you never know. It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, very true.
Imagine your division rival playing in your home stadium.
I saw a lot of memes. They had to take down a Brock Purdy banner that they have outside the stadium, and they replaced it with a Sam Darnold banner for the Super Bowl. And and Niners fans were losing their mind, but I thought it was funny.
Jeez.
Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
That is hilarious.
Let them know. But who you got, Nick?
All right, so I'm not gonna go on the other side of it. I'm just gonna stay with what you guys are going to. I think Seahawks just take this home. I do believe it's gonna be a gritty game. It's gonna be low scoring. I could see a world where it's in the teens with the score, but I think it might be 24-21, somewhere around that line. But again, like you guys talked about, I just think the Seahawks defense just stands out more than any other phase of the ball for any of these teams. The way Mike McDonald has been developing that defense and his scheme, it works so well. And dare I say, Nick Emmanwori, who I tried to get on here tonight.
Hey, I've been saying it all year after I seen the play when he had played like safety. When I don't know guys and what position they play on the field, that's when I'm like, he's pretty nice. Like he's everywhere.
He's literally a chess piece.
I
think
it was a blitz against the Bears, and I was like, you don't even know what he is like on the field because like he's technically the will / the nickel / the safety. It's just
this is how I would say it. I think he is a safety, like a DB in a linebacker's body with the tools of a wide receiver. Like that to me, he's just so athletic. His rack score for the combine was out of this world. I have no clue how he fell out of the first round. To me, that made no sense. But the way Mike McDonald has used him is so similar to Kyle Hamilton. So dare I
very
say,
correct, very
the next
correct.
Kyle Hamilton, and that to me would be if he can have a game like Cooper DeJean did, that would be in the Super Bowl last year, like awesome for them. And I think their defense as a whole, that with Spoon being able to go to the outside and play outside, and just everything just is working in tandem for them. It's like I think they've been playing better than the Texans defense was the year, but hey, like keep his composure and it should be fine. I don't see why not. The Seahawks don't take it home.
It will definitely be a low-scoring game for sure.
As long as it's not like the Patriots Rams was a couple years ago.
I think it's going to be something similar to that. Though.
It could be really. It could be like that. I don't want it to be. I want to see some. I want to see the offensive side of the ball.
Defenses are good though. Like you can't.
They are.
At it. Like
for sure.
Yeah, you gotta respect good defense. So I think, and what I've seen a lot of people saying is that Seattle, obviously, to be in the spot, number one, we got two, younger offenses, obviously young quarterback in New England, but Seattle being a team that possibly could establish themselves as another dynasty. We don't like to throw the word dynasty around, but a team that could be at least contending for a good while with all the pieces they have together. Would you guys say that's something realistic?
I want to say it's realistic, but both coordinators on offense and defense for Seattle are both so good that they're going to get coaching jobs this offseason. So both sides of the ball are going to look completely different when both of them are getting coaching jobs. Like look at the Lions. They let Ben Johnson walk, and he did a great job in Chicago, and the Lions offense fell apart with the amount of pieces they have. So I think keeping coordinators is important to trying to keep a team the way they are, but I don't know if Seattle's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I guess we'll certainly have to find out. One of them already did. We know Clint Kubiak's off to a new venture, so we'll certainly see how that ends up. I want to keep talking about ball, but like I mentioned, basketball. Um, Juan, you used to hoop back in the day. It seems this certainly was not you actually playing. I actually don't know what the context of this photo was, but I thought it was better.
It was just a camp day after practice, and
Yeah, that's what I like
Mess
the
around,
caption
yep.
said. I was like, okay, this would be perfect. Football uniform and holding the basketball. But kind of what went into that as far as your basketball career, how long did you play? And was there ever thought of like, oh, am I gonna do basketball or football? Or was it kind of still like, all right, I'm football no matter what?
Just going back to like where I'm from, it's a big basketball state. Just from Larry Bird to from, for me it's Greg Oden. Just like those
Wow.
greats. Just I kind of looked up to those guys. And I don't know. I just love basketball growing up. And football never like really like intrigued me. And but we always had the coach. I always loved the coach. I never like had nothing against him. I loved Dwight Freeney. Like that was one of my favorite players. Monte Rager. He was on the 2006 championship team. That was one guy I had looked up to. And so I want to say Edrin James used to come to my barbershop. Reggie Wayne. So guys like that would come to my barbershop. And I think that's like kind of when it started to flip a little bit, but then I don't think it's still like I still wanted to play basketball, just because I was bigger, I'm taller, like I was just dominant, and it just went up, and I want to say I got to like kind of get ready to commit to Ohio State, and I remember one coach like eventually been my offensive line coach my freshman year, he was just like, "What are you like more different at?" And I was like. He's like, "What you mean?" I'm like, "What you mean?" He like, where are you more different? He like, "All right, what is 6'8" in the NBA?" And I'm like, "6'8" is like a power forward, small forward, really. And he like, "What is 6'8" in the NFL?" I'm like, "Offensive tackle." He's like, "So what's the like, where are you mainly different at? And like, where are you really different?" I'm like, "Football." He like, "So then like that's your answer?" And I really thought about it. I was like, "That really is my answer." So I just really took that. I'm just a competitor, and I really just fell in love with football, honestly.
Nice. Yeah, I know it's a lot of people. Either some people that play basketball used to play football. There's a lot of people in football that used to play basketball. I know they got the celebrity game coming up. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown and Keenan Allen are in it. Do you still play? Are you gonna play in something like that one day? Or
Yeah, when I get back healthy, I'm definitely
yeah,
going. Hopefully, I get my name out there and I can get in it. I got a basketball court in my backyard, so when the snow goes away, I'll be back there shooting and getting it up.
the snow is
We need
there.
to get your answer on the debate of the who could play better. Is basketball can basketball players play better in the NBA or NFL, or can NFL players easily make the change to the NBA?
I'd probably say NFL, probably the NBA. Just
No
I don't
bias.
think NBA players just don't take that hit that we take every day.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
for NBA player an NFL player to go play NBA, we can kind of like bump already. So like this is really nothing. I feel like I played with a lot of athletes at Ohio State that could have played basketball. We had basketball offers like
Right.
Garrett Wilson had an offer to Texas A&M, but you
Oh
know,
wow.
so it's stuff like that that goes into play, and you like.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of athletes out here. Like Sonny, he had a lot of basketball offers. Jack, I'm pretty sure he had a couple. Pretty sure CJ probably had a couple too. But we all have a different path. We all just chose to play football.
Yeah, 100%. But I will now transition from ball. Or actually, we'll see if Mason's mic working. He never got to give his Super Bowl pick.
Is it working now?
There you go.
All
There we
right.
go.
Who you
There
got?
we go.
Oh man.
Listen, there's a
We got
reason why
Seahawks across the board. We can't turn into a Sunday Night Football ESPN graphic with all Seahawks. So I'm not gonna pressure you, but who you got?
Yeah. No, I mean it's a good point. I do know that both teams are very solid. There's a reason that they're in the Super Bowl to begin with. I think I'm gonna go with Seahawks. I feel like that'd be a good pick. Yeah, I mean I try to keep up with it as much as I can. I know it's tough. I just to give everybody a briefing, I do a lot of my own work behind the scenes with the sponsors and all that stuff. So I've had a very hard time keeping up with other sports over the off season. But I have kept up with a little bit of football. But I think the Seahawks are the way to go. It'll be a good game. It definitely will be a good game. Both teams are very good, very competitive. Both are very stout in their own respectives. So I think I'm going to go with Seahawks, though. I think they're gonna just get them. So
they're gonna do that football. That's what they say. So it's gonna happen. That's good pick, Mason. I want to swing it back over to some cars before we let you go, Dewan. I know you're in tune with the sport. You're clearly in tune with Xfinity and trucks. You know, hey, we all love Xfinity. I don't know if you love it as much as we do.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Hey.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
There we go.
O'Reilly.
RJ, come on. We
My
just talked
bad.
about this.
I'm sorry.
O'Reilly. I've been getting used to it. But we were talking about that earlier. We've been getting used to it.
I gotta get used to that. I'm sorry.
I know. O'Reilly. But if you had to pick from what you know, from what you've seen, who would you say is like next up in NASCAR? This could mean they're in the Cup Series right now. You could be talking about, you know, O'Reilly or the Craftsman Truck Series. Who do you think? You can give a few if you want. Who's next up? I see you got a Spire shirt on there. I saw that. I know they got a lot of
this is just my Daniel Suarez shirt, but I looked at a couple.
Daniel Suarez, you already got one?
Yeah, it had popped up, and I just went and ordered it, you know. But
all right.
I'll probably say for sure from the trucks, I'll probably say, I don't know, probably Butterbean. You know, he dominated ARCA last year, and I think he got a lot of uprise this year. I think it'll be really good for him in the trucks, being full time. He had a couple top tens in the Xfinity, didn't he? I'm pretty sure, or what, two. Yeah. So I think Butterbean will probably do really well. I think the 11 car, whoever's in the 11 car, so the Caden Honeycutt, I think he'll probably do pretty well in that. And so I think that's mine. But Xfinity, obviously I root for Raja. Like, Raja is definitely like who I want to do well. You know, I want him to do talk to LeVar Scott. I want him to do really well. I'm trying to think who else. Like, Xfinity is kind of hard because it's like, you know, Mason, like, it's up and comers, you know, so like sometimes they skip and like I don't really like pay attention because I watch the trucks and I kind of like watch it on and on, but that's kind of hard. But obviously, like, the no-brainer is Corey Heim. You know, it don't get bigger than that. He's the guy. Like, you know, I don't know where he's going to be at in the seat for this next year. I don't.
Bouncing around. That's going to be it. Yeah, part time. So you're running the 500 for 2311. So that'll be cool. He'll probably do some truck races, possibly some O'Reilly Series races, but we'll see. But yeah, it's crazy. He's not after a historic season. He's not racing for a champion.
You don't have a full-time seat for the truck. Truck winner, that don't sit right with me. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a crazy world. It's a sport unlike no other. You know, where, you know, you say you're the NFL, you have an all-pro season, you're a free agent the next season. You think someone's probably going to sign you for the full year, right? You know, but
all right about that, yeah. So
yeah. But in NASCAR, it's unfortunately a lot of politics to go in, sponsorship, this, that. But you know, Toyota's put their faith in him. So they'll certainly
figure something out.
They'll figure something out for him for down the road. He's the future for sure. But yeah, I mean, in the Cup Series, like I said, like it's a big year for Spire Motorsports. Like the shirt you got, Daniel Suarez. That's a big opportunity.
I like the change for him. You know, it's a new seat for him. He'll probably do really well, I think, in the 7. You know, he came close at the second Daytona, at the 400, right? And yeah, he almost won it.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then how to I'm still, you know, I gotta get caught up on the IndyCar silly season where everybody's at. But you got to pick there, like maybe a championship pick over there in IndyCar. You think's gonna win it all this year?
It's so hard. I mean, I think I'm gonna just go with the easy pick. You know, Alex Palou. I think it's. I don't know. I just try to watch the races. I'm like, I don't know what makes him faster. You know, I don't know. He's just that good. Like, just how probably guys talk about Max and over in F1, but they probably talk about him the same way in IndyCar. But I'll probably say him. You know, I root for my boy Graham, Graham Ray Hall. You know, he always supports me and he's always helping out. So I hope Graham Ray Hall has a good year this year, and that'd be pretty dope for him.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll certainly see how it all pans out, man. I'd certainly greatly appreciate you coming on here. Appreciate all the support you give to Motor Stardom.
I got some Tampa Bay stuff for you. Let me see if I can show
bro.
you. Yeah, I got my jerseys over here. Y'all was talking about I got all my cards and stuff over here. So yeah.
What we got?
Let me see. Oh my God, with Ryan.
There we go.
Starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yep. Just announced today. Well, not announced, but they're trying to get that new stadium over in next to Raymond James. So coming along. I think it's gonna happen.
That's not bad. Yeah. But I got
college campus for it, but hey.
I just want to show y'all my rack, man. I got so many cards, man. It's crazy over here.
Gosh. Oh wow.
Yeah, so look at one of the jackets I got.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a true race fan right there.
Hell yeah, dude. Awesome.
That is sick.
Now I gotta give me a Mason one, man. So I feel bad.
No, we'll make it happen.
Come on, Mason.
Yeah, I gotta send them a Flitz one. We had a like the little 164s made actually this year, so I'll have to send you one, man. Absolutely.
Okay, no doubt. I can get you a jersey sent out. So yeah, I'll get it done.
Oh man, legendary trade! I can't wait for it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a beautiful trade right there, 100%. So you say you're going to be over in St. Pete? That's your goal?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Are you talking to
St. Pete Grand Prix? You.
Oh, me, yeah. I'll be there for sure. You can bring up the schedule. Let me look at it. If you can bring up the schedule, I can tell you which one I'll be at.
Yeah, 2026 schedule. Let me see. I'll do some work real quick. But in the meantime, I was going to say that weekend you like Monster Jam?
Monster Jam? When I was a kid, I don't know. Like, I love Grave Digger, obviously, but I don't know.
Yeah,
iconic.
I love Grave Digger. I know they got, what is that? BMX is gonna come here at Huntington Bank. I'm gonna go try to look at that.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Be a good one.
Yeah, Monster Jam. I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth because Monster Jam is gonna be the same as of now, the same weekend as the St. Pete weekend. So I'm excited for that. But let me bring up that 2026 schedule here real quick.
Were they just at Coors Field?
I think so, possibly, if I'm not mistaken. So let me know if we peep the schedule. You see it?
Oh, I said I'm gonna go to Chicagoland. I said I'm gonna go to that for sure.
Sweet. I'll be there too. That's all my family's from Chicago, so
I'll be at the Michigan one. I said, and I said I'm gonna try to catch the San Diego one for sure.
Oh yeah.
I went to Texas last year. That was a good race, and you know who won there?
Mm-hmm.
Your boy, 22.
Yep.
And I'll probably try to. I want to really go to Talladega. That's one I want to go to for sure. Talladega, yeah.
Mason can tell you it's a party over there.
It's pretty insane. It is definitely insane. I'm trying to get a bunch of my buddies to come that aren't involved in racing because I know they're like, all right, you may not get the whole racing thing, but the party you can't go wrong with. So, but yeah, we're gonna have to make it a boys trip. We'll have to get you and RJ out. I've been trying to get RJ to get to one of the Talladegas. I'll be running both of those, so it should be we'll make it a good time. We'll make it a good time.
I'll definitely try to make our way down.
Yeah, 100%. Well, man, hey, I appreciate you so much for coming on the show, man. It was an unbelievable time having you. I know you'll be in tap with the racing season throughout. Glad we could finally connect, and hopefully this won't be the last time we'll bring you on here. We got to bring you on again for some. Once we get into the racing season, once the snow clears out, we can actually race. Because obviously, as been saying all episode, we were supposed to race 2 days ago, so I am bored as hell.
I've been waiting to watch something on TV. Have y'all watched the Race for the Seat with Ram and it's been pretty good. I've been enjoying that. I like Mini Terrell. I think he's probably gonna win it, and yeah, I like Landon Huffman as well. Those guys have been running pretty well in that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been a fun show. It's been awesome for the sport to have something like that, like a reality show in our sport. It's been funny. Like as guys that like know a few of the people in the show, it's like funny to see in a reality TV show. But like it's a cool opportunity for them, because there's a lot of people watching it that really don't know about the racing. So that maybe that's what gets and I guarantee you, there's a few people that are going to be watching that are going to be tuned into NASCAR that wouldn't have if they didn't see that. So
correct.
Glad we've been able to keep ourselves entertained with that at the very least. But we hope, for everybody in the audience watching too, that we will be racing tomorrow night on Fox with the Clash at 6:00. Don't forget about the LCQs before at 4:30, everybody, because those are probably the most entertaining thing possible. They're racing on Bowman Gray. If you don't know what that is, tune in to find out. Take a football field and make a circle around it like a high school track. That's Bowman Gray. So it makes for some unbelievable bump and running race. You got to pick who you got winning the Clash.
I'm gonna go with three engineers. I'm gonna rock with Joey Logano.
Nope.
I'm gonna rock with Chase Elliott, and I'm gonna rock with Denny Hamlin.
Sweet, I like it. Yeah, Denny
Those
Hamlin.
three different engineers. Yeah.
Big revenge year for the 11 car. That race at Phoenix was it was sad. It was sad to watch for sure. So
it hurt.
Yeah, we certainly raced a lot this year. But yeah, we will certainly bring you on at some point this season. Maybe even after St. Pete, we'll get your expertise on and feel of what happened there, because it's going to be a fun weekend. So I'll see you out there. We'll do some stuff at the racetrack too. I like. I got all my equipment ready this year. I got some more microphones. I got more everything. We're gonna be doing it right live from the track. So you'll see some of our Speed Week stuff for Daytona, and then St. Pete's going to be a great time. We're gonna be in that city, living it up with all the racing that weekend. A lot of stuff going on. So I'm excited for that. Excited to see you there, and we'll definitely see you back on the show sometime the rest of the year.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much, man. And that was DeJuan Jones, Cleveland Browns offensive tackle. Man, that was so cool having him here on the show. A race fan, just like everybody else, but obviously in the football world. So cool we could bring him out. Awesome guy, awesome player as well, and he will certainly be back on the show this year. We will certainly be in touch. That's awesome. He's coming to St. Pete. St. Pete's going to be a good time. It's always a great time. Everybody that goes to St. Pete has an amazing time. So I'm sure he will. I will. I can't wait for Daytona. I can't wait to get back to the track. I'm sick and tired of sitting here with no racing on my TV, with no racing in front of me. It's upsetting, Football's finishing up. I can't even watch football on Sundays. And then last Sunday, NASCAR gets rained. What was I supposed to do? Like, I don't get it, guys. At least we got a race for the seat. At least we got some basketball going on. But
yeah.
Anyways, race season should be coming up soon. Hopefully. But glad we were all able to give our Super Bowl picks. Anything else anybody else is looking forward to coming up this weekend? Any basketball NBA trade deadlines going on right now? My Chicago Bulls are blowing up their organization right now. That's been great.
I'm just waiting for I'm just waiting for the notification for Giannis to end up somewhere. I've seen every possibility ever of him going somewhere, and none of it seems realistic. But he clearly wants out of there, so he's gonna get out of there. I just don't know where. I saw that the Warriors have the most appealing package to the Bucks. I saw the Knicks want to give away every single good player they have. Yeah, the Knicks have no picks, so they'd literally give away their entire bench and more and just leave Jalen Brunson and Giannis there. So I don't know if the Knicks are going to end up doing that. I don't know if the Spurs could even do something. I feel like Giannis and Wemby on the same floor would be kind of unfair to defenses in the NBA. I don't know. I'm just waiting for the notification to see where he ends up. I think it's going to be shock the world. It's going to be close to not close to the Luka trade because that was ridiculous, but I think it'll be crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff certainly in the store this trade deadline. But again on DeJuan Jones, How cool is it to have a football player, NFL player on the Motor Stardom show? Obviously, Nick, this is your field, that you expertise in. But to have a guy playing in the NFL, I got the privilege last year to go to the Pro Bowl, to cover the Pro Bowl for ESPN Radio, and get to interview Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, that in itself was cool. But to be able to have that guy here on the show, and make some NASCAR football comparisons when he was like, we were talking about the changes at quarterback, and he was like, oh, it's like the change of the crew chief. I'm like, oh my gosh. This guy knows ball. This guy knows, or what we say in the NASCAR world, this guy knows wheel. That's what we say.
Yeah.
This guy knows.
It reminds you that these professional athletes are humans too, and they have their own interests, and should respect these people as human beings and not go on ESPN and just start ranting about how bad of a person this person is and saying terrible things to fit a narrative. But we got to see genuine interest that he had. It wasn't like he was fronting to you. Like, he had a genuine passion for the love of NASCAR, or for the love of racing. So it was cool to see that for sure.
Oh, 100%. And that, at the end of the day, and I've talked about this last year on the show, and Nick, this is your first official time on the Motor Stardom show, our NASCAR show, but that's the environment I want to create here, whether it's, no matter who we got in the industry, a driver, a crew chief, an NFL offensive lineman, the environment we want to create here is, unfiltered, unscripted fun, bring the personalities out, and these people that a lot of fans complain about, that we don't have personalities. Well, the NASCAR drivers have personalities, from getting to know them, friends with a lot of drivers, getting just knowing other drivers, hearing stories. These drivers have personalities. These drivers have a lot of fun. They're normal people. They're just like an NFL player, an NBA player when it comes to personality. But unfortunately, no shot at anybody, but it doesn't get out there as much as it needs to. The NASCAR media landscape is great. We have so many amazing people. But in the TV business, we're not as popular, of course, as an NBA, NFL network. We don't have those weekly shows. We don't have those first takes. We don't have those NFL lives and NBA todays. We don't have that here in the NASCAR world. This is just the stuff that we got. NASCAR we have a radio, that puts out content every day, but they honestly rely at these types of shows, to put out content for their drivers. But it honestly, I like it. It gives people like myself, an opportunity in this industry to create something unique here with the Motor Stardom show. We had a lot of fun last year with all the guests that we had on, small to large. Every guest was a great time, and we're going to have some awesome people in here this year. I can't wait for next week. I can't wait for my PC to fire back up and start working. Everything unplugged right now, and I got to plug it back in after this and troubleshoot and act like I know what I'm doing, aka I'm just going to ask my little brother to figure it out for me. But hopefully that's back up and running, because we're really excited about some of the new equipment I got for the show this year. But yeah, big time. Super Bowl 60 coming up this weekend. NASCAR Clash tomorrow. Seahawks, Patriots. I can't remember if I gave my pick or not, but I got Seahawks. I think, like DeJuan was saying, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. That's just how it seems to me. I think when both defenses are good and you have inexperienced quarterbacks in this type of setting, as in both quarterbacks haven't been in the Super Bowl before, I just feel like we may get a low-scoring game. Not 13-3 like Rams and Patriots, but I think we get like maybe a 20-17 type of thing, like low scoring, as in it's not going to be like, we're not hitting the over in this game. I think
no, it's definitely not under.
Chat, smash the under.
Smash the under.
Although I retired from betting, sports betting, my tragic regular season for the NFL. So, but I know Tanner's going to be putting together a great parlay. Ain't that right, buddy?
So I was thinking about it. I'm not a huge bettor. I don't bet a lot of money at one time. I normally place like a $5-10 bet on something that seems realistic. If I were to give out any picks for this week for the Super Bowl, I would say the under on the total score. It's not gonna be the highest scoring game, as we just said. I do this sounds kind of crazy, but I do like betting on Drake May to throw an interception. He's had bad turnovers this entire postseason, and the Seahawks defense he's running into isn't anything easy. He's running into probably the best defense in the league, and he's young. He's never been in this situation before. He's bound to turn the ball over, as he has plenty of times. So I think an interception is very likely, and a Seahawks money line.
Okay, I like that. Thanks, and shout out to our non-existent betting sponsor. That would have been a perfect placement to have.
It would have been a great plug. It really would.
Well, bet this line,
Yep.
Tanner's Lay, down on whatever. So, if you're a betting company and listening, please sponsor. Sponsorship is appreciated here at Motor Stardom. Always open to anything. But anyways, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I wanted to roll this little clip. I had put together a highlight video. Over the NASCAR offseason, myself, Nick, and Tanner we're doing some football watch along live streams, having some fun doing that. Playing with some people in the chat as well that were watching Phillip Rivers with us. So we're having some fun with people in the chat. Put together this highlight video of one of my favorite streams, which was the night we did a watch along to the Colts and the 49ers Monday Night Football.
Oh, wait.
Ooh, free play. Free play.
Did he hold on to it?
It's really laggy.
Let's go, baby.
Rip his helmet off, dude. He's pumped.
See, we're gonna get a buzzer beater live on stream.
Hey!
Oh!
3rd and goal from the whatever.
Oh, he got Pierce again.
Homelander lasered people's skulls in half. Paul George destroyed the NBA.
Bro.
Oh, bootleg!
Mo Alley Cox!
Dive in there.
Long resumes. Here is a
Brock Purdy pick!
through the hands of Bourne. This game's not over yet.
God.
Alec Pierce had a crazy first quarter. He's been quiet.
Where's
Might
Tyler?
have a shot here, though. There it is!
His big night continues down inside the 30.
Maybe we
go.
just the bank. Phillip Rivers and Alec Pierce have got me $110.
That's crazy.
Quick throw.
Oh, man, that's it.
Enters, and he is gone. This
Damn.
is a pick six.
But that was some of the fun we had over the off season. Certainly more to come. Next season.
So funniest thing is I'm wearing that exact same outfit from that video right now. I don't know if anyone saw that, but I have the same hat and same
Free play!
He's wearing that fit all off.
What are the
Same
chances?
shit, bro.
What are the chances?
Oh my goodness.
That's a great pull there. But yeah, excited that one of the trips on my schedule this year will be to the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. So that is going to be a good time with the boys, with the Yinzers up north, as in Tanner and Nick covering the NFL draft. So we're gonna make sure to get a lot of stuff planned there, have some fun content for you guys. See who's in Pittsburgh for the draft. Maybe DeJuan Jones will be there. Forgot to ask him that. Maybe he'll be at the draft, and we can do some stuff with him. But definitely excited for that. Speed Week's coming up here for Daytona. I'll be there. Atlanta the weekend after that. I'll be there. St. Pete the weekend after that. I'll be there. It's going to be a fun year here in 2026. NASCAR kind of gets to roll with the calendar of the year, unlike some other sports that, go and 2025, 2026, we're just straight up in the year. We have the longest season in sports. We go from February to November. And most of the drivers that race that schedule don't stop racing when that ends. They find something else to do. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But next week's going to be fun. We got Caesar Baccarella joining the show. Nick, if you don't know Caesar Baccarella, he's one of the driver owners in the secondary series at NASCAR. Imagine big mafia boss Italian guy.
Sounds pretty tough.
Makes protein bites and supplement stuff. That is Caesar. He's an awesome guy, an awesome time, a figment, a stature of the show for sure on here. So why not bring him on our first official week? But yeah, excited for the NASCAR season to start. Great episode. Glad we got to talk to DeJuan Jones. And before we sign off here, what's a roundtable question for everybody before we go off the air here?
Did anyone send in comments on your Instagram story? We can answer.
Oh yeah. Let me open
True. How is Tanner more on par with this than you are, Jay?
Well, because I had a malfunction, so I could, all these questions are on my PC.
Yeah.
I only remembered that because I reposted it to my story so that more people would send in questions.
I'm gonna be real. I hadn't been on Instagram hardly all day until I noticed that Motor Stardom tagged you on something. I was like, I should probably share this.
Well, I
didn't look at the context. Didn't think twice. I was like,
everybody in the chat, send in a question for us that I can put up. Random question that we all can answer real quick.
Yeah.
Chris Gollin asked, "What football positions do you think turn into the best NASCAR crew members?" And this is something we've seen a lot. I would say,
I got an answer.
Combination. Go first, Nick.
There's actually a ton of crew. It's like a random fact that there's a lot of crew that have played in the NFL before. It's like in the position that they typically are is linemen, just because they have the strength for it, they have the build for it, it's quick. They can do it quick because it's heavy. Heavy stuff. So
that's true. I have heard
linemen
a lot in the garage area. Yep.
Yeah, there's all sorts of positions. I think the people, jackmen, especially the people that jack up the car, got to be real strong. Yeah. A lot of the times you've seen they've played football before, whether they were a lineman or a D lineman or a linebacker, a big, bulky linebacker. NFL. I think I've even seen like running backs on pit crews. I believe.
So, the quads.
So anybody, it's usually they're looking for, hey, my football career is over. What can I do that still requires me to be big and strong? And I also love wheel. They tend to come in the NASCAR world. Checkered Flag Dan had asked, and this is an interesting question. This is something that, funny enough, Checkered Flag Dan and us are on the same page here. He said, when do you get a call-in line? Me and Mason have talked about that a lot this offseason. Mason had brought it up, doing whether it's a call-in line or a mail box or something like that.
P.O. box.
P.O. box. Yeah, he had the word for it. So for something, they obviously, I love doing Q&As on the Instagram a lot and being able to answer those questions on the show, just general question. Seamus's question is great. I'm going to put that up here in a second. But this is something we are working on to get a call-in line to the show. Once I get that finalized, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with that, especially after some race weekends where people are pissed. So hopefully we get Kyle Biscuit calling into the show. I said this question is great because it says, if you were chained to a NASCAR Cup Series driver for a week, who would it be?
Oh wow! All
right, Mason, go first.
I don't know. There's only two guys that I'm like actually tight with, or at least know in the Cup Series. Either Noah Gragson or Cody Ware. At least Cody can get is tall enough to where it's like, I don't know, if I'm in the kitchen or if I need to grab something, I can be like, yo, Cody, you can grab this for me. Type beat. Noah's going to be a good time. He'll make the most out of it. Shout out Noah, good friend of ours. But if I had to choose between the two, I really don't know. It'd be between those two because those are the only two Cup drivers that I actually am acquainted with more. The rest of the time, I'm just like a fish out of water. I'm like, I don't know anybody.
All right, Tanner, you go.
Well, I have met Christopher Bell before, so I'd probably put him up there. I'm thinking of guys that could really if I'm chained to someone for a week, trying to think of a NASCAR Cup Series guy that would just want to sit there chained together and slam some beer, I mean, what else is there to do when you're chained to a guy you don't really know for a week? No better way to get to know him than split a case and have a good time for that week. So I'm trying to think of think of a Cup Series guy I wouldn't mind that too much. My favorite driver is Blaney, so I think that would be a cool experience. I'd probably rock with Blaney.
Okay.
Be with
Nick,
the llama man.
Do you have a name to throw in there, Nick?
Well, I'm only gonna say this person because this is who I watched when I was a kid, and I literally chose this person because of their car design because I was a child at the time. So it was Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
that's who I would choose.
Candyman.
The M&M cars back in the day, as a kid, like those are so cool to me. But that's how. And it was just funny that Dewan was talking about Kyle Busch, and then he also talked about Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart, and I was like, that's my parents' two favorite drivers. So that was cool.
Peak.
But yeah, I would have to go Kyle.
Love.
Definitely have to go Kyle.
That's awesome. I'm gonna say Ross Chastain.
Not his brother.
Oh, Ross Chastain.
I'm gonna say Ross Chastain because Florida guy. Liked him when I was growing up when he was first coming in. But also I get fresh watermelon and Busch Light beer. So flaming beers.
You had me a Busch Light.
Also get fresh watermelon.
How did I not think about that? He probably has a hidden case of Busch Apple somewhere.
Stored somewhere. Dude, speaking of which, funny enough, a story with Noah. I ran into I forgot his. I'm so sorry if you're watching this. I ran into somebody that I met prior, but hadn't seen them in a long time. I'm forgetting names. It's been a long day, but it's funny because they're like, oh, you're empty-handed, and we're at Talladega. We're at the concert at the racetrack, right? And next, I'm like, yeah, I'm a little empty-handed right now. I didn't come prepared. I just changed and was like, all right, rock on, And next thing you know, he's like, do you want the last Busch Apple that I have in my cooler right now? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, please. And he just hands it to me, and it was like that one photo from Fortnite where they look like the golden chest. That's what it felt like to me. I don't have it, but that's what it felt like to me. And I was like, dude, this is gonna hit so hard. And then Noah's like, you gotta chug that. I was like, no, I want to enjoy this. And he's like, you're chugging this right now. You're getting peer pressured by everybody. And
what's the point of chugging that? You gotta enjoy.
I know it's a Busch Apple. You gotta
savor that, dude. That's the last case. That's the last case in the fridge.
So peer pressuring works, kids. Not to that extent, but it worked on me, at least in that moment. And I was like, well, I can't let Noah down because then I'm just gonna look. I'm not gonna look cool.
It's fair. Oh man. Well, guys, we've officially reached the 2-hour mark here. The Motor Stardom Show is a great episode. We're going to sign off for tonight. Next week, we will be back, like I said, Cesar Baccarella and a handful of other guests as we prepare for my favorite week in NASCAR, the opening week, Speed Weeks at Daytona. I'll be there all week. Looking forward to that. Maybe some new Smyrna action, maybe some Volusia action in there, which is a dirt track. But it will all culminate at Daytona, hoping for some good weather. Looks like it'll still be a little chillier up there as the week goes on, but as long as it's not raining, I don't care. It could be 20 degrees. Don't rain, don't snow, don't rain or snow on our parade, and I'll be having a good time. So without further ado, this has been the Motor Stardom Show on my MacBook. As I said multiple times in the show, PC fried itself. We will try to fix it by the time we come back next week on the Motor Stardom Show. This has been Mason Maggio, driver of the number 91 for DGM Racing. Down there's Tanner Popella from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh in the back. No shame talking to the Cleveland guy on the show.
Way to push the Pittsburgh Cleveland beef aside for that.
It's fair. But good thing that Nick came in and shouted out the Ohio State University, the college that DeWan Jones went to. It's been a great time here on the Motor Stardom Show. Happy to be back for 2026. We got amazing episodes planned all year long. It's going to be an amazing year of NASCAR. I can't wait. Stay tuned. See you guys next week.